Today, we're diving into the heart of the Clone Wars, where a metallic menace lurked in the shadows. The BX series Droid Commandos. Now, we know what you're thinking. Droids? Really? But hold on to your blasters, because these weren't your run-of-the-mill clankers. Imagine this: sleek, agile, and armed to the circuits, these commandos brought a whole new level of terror to the battlefield. So buckle up as we unravel why the mere mention of these droids sent shivers down the spines of Jedi and clone troopers alike. Get ready for a journey through the cosmos, where metal meets mayhem. In a galaxy far, far away, where rank-and-file battle droids were a dime a dozen, the Confederacy's elite unit stood as a formidable force. Droids, those rolling nightmares, could single-handedly alter the course of entire battles, and General Grievous Magna Guards had a notorious reputation for taking down Jedi. Yet today, our focus is on a less flashy but incredibly versatile group, the BX series Droid Commandos, the advanced edition of the standard B1 battle droid. Their programming was such that it made them far superior than any other previous droid, which came in handy during the battles, as when many droids were deployed at once, the previous weaker models would be the ones taking all the damage, while these newer, more advanced ones would be dealing heavy damage. They would know when to attack and where in order to deliver the biggest blow, and one could say that they were usually the big final boss type members of the droids. The BX series Droid Commandos weren't just your average snipers, they were the tactical tricksters of the droid world. Not only could they pick off key personnel with a sniper rifle, but these metal masterminds were sly enough to set traps. Yep, you heard it right, they were like the pranksters of the battlefield, cutting off key routes and making enemies scratch their heads in confusion. It wasn't just about taking shots, it's about playing mind games and making the other side break a sweat over tough decisions. These commandos were the puppeteers pulling the strings of chaos, brought to life by the genius minds at Droid Combat Automata, the same masterminds behind the older B1 and B2 battle droids. The BX Commandos were a different breed. While the B-Series earlier models were mass-produced for combat, the onset of the Clone Wars prompted Droid to shift gears. They decided the B1s and B2s were sufficient for the cannon fodder, leading them to venture into the realm of elite units. The B3 Ultra Battle Droid and the BX Commando were early experiments in this endeavor. Now, let's talk about design. The BX Commandos shared family resemblance with their older B1 siblings, but make no mistake, these commando droids were a whole new ballgame. With meticulous attention to hardware and software development, Droid ensured that the BXs were a significant upgrade. The notoriously weak spots of the B1, those magnetically held limbs with limited mobility, gone. Instead, the BX featured sturdier joints, granting not just greater ranges of motion, but a speed that left their rank-and-file counterparts in the dust. Just imagine commando droids zipping across the battlefield, more flexible, more agile, and seemingly stronger than their less sophisticated counterparts. While the B1s were practically walking tin cans, the commando droids increased their armor game several notches, heavier armor, comparable to the B2's plating, and turned them into walking tanks. Blaster shots to the chest, a mere inconvenience for a BX. These droids could withstand a barrage and keep on ticking. Their only apparent weak spot? The head. And here's where it gets wild. These commando droids could soldier on even after being sliced in half at the waist. Talk about resilience. But it wasn't just about looking sleek on the battlefield. The BX's frame was intentionally designed to mimic the rough shape of a human body. Why, you ask? For infiltration missions, of course. These droids could seemingly wear clone trooper armor, slipping into the enemy lines undetected. To add to the disguise, commando droids had the uncanny ability to perfectly mimic voices. Sure, their vocabulary was limited, and they couldn't nail organic quirks, but it was effective enough for covert operations to a point. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather, the fingers. How did these droids convincingly imitate beings with 5 fingers when they only had 3? And thicker ones at that. And I'll do you one better. How did they fit their 3 fingers into regular 5-fingered gloves of the clones when in disguise? It's a head-scratcher without a satisfying answer, and although we know this question keeps you up at night, we don't have a choice but to let that mystery float into the cosmic void, sadly. But wait, the story doesn't end there. The BXs weren't one-trick ponies. They were programmed for a cosmic buffet of roles: commandos, elite soldiers, prison guards, snipers, interrogators, and gunners. You name it, they did it. And naturally, their equipment varied accordingly. The mere thought of a squad of BXs storming in, E5 blaster rifles in hand, the standard issue weapon for the CIS droid army, would send shivers down the enemy's spine. But to make them even more terrifying, they handed those rifles with finesse, better accuracy, a better sense of cover. These droids were practically sharpshooters. Commando droids stationed in key positions like the Citadel on 𝐿 didn't just stop at blasters. They paired them with handheld energy shields for that extra layer of defense. And let's talk style, vibro swords. Most Commando droids carried them, and it wasn't just for show. These sleek blades were reserved for squad captains only. Regular BXs wielded them like futuristic swordsmen. Close quarter combat was their forte, and these droids were deadly dancers in the battlefield ballet. Now, imagine a Commando droid on stealth duty, armed with stun batons or posted up as a sniper with a rifle. Yep, they did that too. Fusion cutters built into the forearms for slicing through sealed doors. Standard equipment, thermal detonators, and macro binars for those just-in-case moments? Check and check. The Commando droid made its grand entrance into the Clone Wars a few months in, with the first known appearance on the Rishi moon. Captain Rex was already aware of their existence, indicating they'd been up to some shenanigans before that battle. And what a showcase it was. A single squad infiltrated and captured a Republic base, throwing the clones into disarray. Even when the base was due for inspection, the Commando droids held their ground, proving to be tough adversaries for Captain Rex, Commander Cody, and the rest of Domino's squad. The clones had to resort to blowing up the whole building just to get a distress signal out. But the Commando droids weren't one-hit wonders. They made sporadic appearances across the galaxy, posing as a serious threat to Republic forces. On 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐫𝐬, a BX sniper came inches away from taking out Captain Rex. During the Battle of 𝐿, the unit assigned to guard the Citadel, backed by its defense systems, proved nearly unstoppable. Jedi presence allowed the Republic infiltration team to hold them off temporarily. As the war progressed, Commando droids popped up on Felucia, Kairos, Dathomir, Onderon, and Ringo Venda. Now let's address the biggest question that may be popping in your minds. No, the Commando droids weren't invincible. Jedi and clones could handle them without breaking a sweat in an even fight. But it ain't that simple, as these droids were masters at stacking the odds in their favor. They had a knack for completing missions in such complex ways that standard droids couldn't even dream of. If they dreamt it in the first place, that is. They would strike when Republic forces least expected it, and caused serious damage. Now, you might be wondering, with all of this awesomeness, why bother with standard droids at all, when the BX was clearly the superior model? Well, here are two cosmic truths. First, it was all about the space credits. Commando droids were high maintenance, and the Confederacy couldn't churn out enough to form a full army. They could deploy small squads here and there, but most of the time, the droid army had to make do with the budget-friendly B1s. And second, here's the juicy tidbit. As Dave Filoni pointed out, the Commando droids, despite their superior design, faltered at holding the Rishi moon outpost. An army of B1s recaptured it with relative ease. This intentional move by the writing team highlighted a crucial point. The original battle droids, despite being less advanced, still posed a threat, thanks to their numbers advantage. This brings us to a deeper understanding of the B1's purpose. Individual assessment missed the point. B1s weren't meant to be solo soldiers. They were the chorus, meant to flood the battlefield with sheer numbers. The BX, with its complete design, couldn't exploit the most critical advantage of battle droids: mass production. The Commando droid wasn't just an upgrade, it was a specialized version, a nuanced B1. The B1 was designed to dominate battlefields in vast numbers, overwhelming and crushing the enemy. In small groups with complex objectives, they stumbled. The BX stepped into that niche, excelling where the B1s fell short. In essence, the Commando droid wasn't trying to outshine the B1. It was a version tailored to a specific role. The B1 held battlefields. The BX took on more intricate tasks. If the Confederacy had attempted to replace the B1s with the BX across the board, they would have gone bankrupt. So, there you have it. The epic saga of the BX series Droid Commandos. They weren't just metal warriors. They were a cosmic symphony of agility, strength, and versatility. They danced through battles, stacked the odds, and left a mark on the Clone Wars. If this exploration of the droid world intrigued you, then we have many more videos that you'll definitely enjoy. May the Force be with you.